दंगाइयों से
आजादी,
और दंगाइयों से
आजादी,
है हक हमारी
आजादी,
हम छीन के लेंगे
आजादी,
हम छीन के लेंगे
आजादी,
अरे दंगाइयों से
आजादी,
अरे दंगाइयों से
आजादी,
हम छीन के लेंगे
आजादी,
अरे बाप से भी
आजादी,
और खाप से भी
आजादी,
अरे बाप से भी
आजादी,
और खाप से भी
आजादी,
होमोफोबिया से
आजादी,
इस्लामोफोबिया से
आजादी,
है हक हमारी
आजादी,
हम छीन के लेंगे
आजादी,
अरे हम क्या चाहते
आजादी,
अरे हम क्या चाहते
आजादी,
हम छीन के लेंगे
आजादी,
पाकिस्तान से
आजादी,
और जातिवाद से
आजादी,
ब्राह्मणवाद से
आजादी,
है हक हमारी
आजादी,
हम छीन के लेंगे
Subscribe, comment, and hit the thumbs.
Give me thumbs up, give me a comment, and follow.
First, I just want to say a little bit about why we are out here today in the rain and the snow and what it means to us, because there are a number of reasons why we're here, and for many of us this is very personal. I know that there are people here today who have family in places like Jafarabad, in places in northeast Delhi which have been directly affected by the horrendous violence which has taken place in the last few days. Now, one of the reasons we're here today, friends, is to share the grief and the trauma of the people who have been affected, and make no mistake, it is the Muslim community who has been targeted and who have been overwhelmingly affected. So we are here today to share the grief and the trauma of those children who have seen their parents being killed, of those people who have seen their homes burning, of those people who have lost everything, of all of those people, those children who have seen their schools razed to the ground, of the people who have seen the mosque they worship in desecrated and burnt. But we are not only here for that. We cannot only be here today to grieve. We also have to be here to amplify around the world the voices of the survivors who want the truth to be heard about what really happened in Delhi over the past few days. Because make no mistake, this was not a clash between two opposing sides. This was not a riot. This was a pogrom. This was a planned, orchestrated, genocidal attack on Delhi's Muslim minority communities.
Shame! Narendra Modi! Blood on your hands! Narendra Modi!
Blood on your hands!
Narendra Modi! Narendra Modi! Narendra Modi! Narendra Modi! Narendra Modi!
So we know who is responsible for this. We heard the speeches of the BJP politicians like Kapil Mishra, who is still roaming free, and like so many others who called for traitors to be shot. But it is not only about those local BJP politicians. We know that the responsibility goes right up to Narendra Modi, who was talking only recently about identifying protesters by the clothes they wear, and we know what that means. It means that any kind of genocidal attacks against Muslims are being justified, are being given the green light. And the other person who is responsible is Amit Shah, Modi's home minister, his minister of hate, as he should be known. And so when we call for his resignation, it's not only because as home minister he's responsible for law and order, it's because we know that this has been something that he has been planning for years with his speeches calling people termites, calling for people to be thrown into the sea. And we have to ask ourselves then, why now? Why at this moment has this genocidal attack been unleashed? Because it's been a long time, of course, in the planning. We know that what happened in the last few days had these terrifying echoes of the genocide of 2002.
A few days ago, the world witnessed what it means that a Nehru-fiddled while home burned. For days, Delhi burned. At the Nehru of the East, Narendra Damodar Das Modi was drooling over the presence of the Nehru of the West, Donald Trump. What happened in Delhi over the last few months generally, and last few days in particular, fits all the models of the genocide mapping. And anyone who argues against it or wants you to believe that it was just a riot is lying through their teeth. We stand here in response to our call of duty, in solidarity with those who have fallen and in solidarity with those who are fighting. We stand here in solidarity with 42 souls who lost their lives and their families. We stand in solidarity with those injured, displaced, and those who lost their houses and properties.
We are disgusted, we are appalled by the horrific anti-Muslim program that has been spearheaded by the Hindu Fatwa right in northeast Delhi this week. The death toll is 42 and continues to rise. Delhi police, blood on your hands. Narendra Modi, blood on your hands. Amit Shah, blood on your hands. Shame on you.
Shame on you! Shame on you!
This mass murder sends a clear message of separation and destruction that cannot be untangled from the global agenda of Islamophobia, of Muslim phobia, from Trump to Modi to Johnson, from Kashmir, Myanmar, Palestine and India, the US and the UK. This cannot be untangled. It has a direct root. But of course we are truly inspired. We are moved to see that hundreds of women in many areas of India have returned to their sit-in protests against the government's oppressive new citizenship law, which they were forced to abandon briefly when the violence broke out. Shaheen Beg! 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 These women, housewives, grandmothers, students, lawyers, lovers, friends, have been occupying these sites for the past 2 months in the bitter North Indian winter cold. They have created these spaces as safe spaces for themselves and their children to learn, draw, read and sing songs of resistance. These protests are truly by and for women, for their children, with men in supporting roles as allies. We need allies. We need those friendships. And we must learn. And we in the UK and across the world must learn from their strength and courage in these turbulent times of increasing fascism. I ask you to be on the right side of her story, on the right side of our story, of our history, of her story. As we stand with the women leading these resistances to stop the hate, to stop the violence, to stop the massacre.
Because we recognize that our enemy is one and the same. Erdogan and Modi are at the forefront of a dark international of fascist leaders rising around the world. As others have said, Boris Johnson wants to join this dark international. Trump is the acknowledged head of this dark international. Bolsonaro in Brazil and many others across the world are looking to leaders like Erdogan and like Modi and are learning lessons from them. And these leaders, Erdogan and Modi, are connected to by the deep roots of fascist history. Kemal Atatürk, the founder of the Turkish Republic, was a teacher to Hitler and Mussolini. Hitler and Mussolini were teachers to the Hindutva movements of the 30s, who the BJP are building their traditions on now. So we know that our enemies are one and the same, and that we will fight them together until the end.
I just want to repeat just one incident, okay? There's an area in Delhi where all of the Muslim men in that area were away at a religious event. 40, 50 RSS goons turned up and they said to the women, "We are here to protect you." And when the darkness came, they removed the generator and they moved into the houses and started sexually assaulting the women. That's how disgusting these people are. That's how disgusting these people are. And we need to stand and we need to redouble our efforts to stand against this fascist society that is being created. Trust me, this is nothing but a strategy to make Muslims second-class citizens in India and to separate the Hindu and Muslim unity in India. And we mustn't let that happen.
What do we want, brothers and sisters? We want azadi. We want the freedom, the liberty that has been given to us, the liberty of faith. Just because people have said La ilaha illallah, that they believe in the one and only Almighty Allah, is that the only reason why they are being cowed down? This is not acceptable. We have so many shining lights, but the vitriol that the Sangh Parivar is putting into our society, it's eating into our society. We heard that brilliant story by Barkha Dutt about the gentleman Sanjeev, who protected his neighbor, Murshid Haji, I guess. I can't remember the name. But that brilliant story that we read, we heard that, but he was crying. Why was he crying? Many of you might have seen that story. He was crying because many of his relatives were saying that he has been a traitor. He is being accused of being a traitor just because he protected his Muslim neighbor. Just because Sanjeev protected his Muslim neighbor who took care of his kids right from their birth. He was being accused of being a traitor. What kind of a country are we living in? India is not the old India that we know.
In the Jewish Socialist Group, we have fought against racism and fascism and ultranationalism wherever they occur since we were formed in the 1970s. And as a diaspora community, we bring our solidarity to all the Indians, Kashmiris and all the people from South Asia here who are suffering now.
है हक तो हमारा आजादी है जान से प्यारी आजादी है प्यारी प्यारी आजादी है जान से प्यारी आजादी.
Let me stand here and condemn the despicable and the barbarous actions of all those people who killed innocent. This action, this barbarism that has unfolded in Delhi was well orchestrated, it was well planned. And today, outside the Indian High Commission, you have come together to express your deep concern. You have demonstrated your humanity by reaching out to all those suffering people, all those families who have lost their loved ones.
Thank you very much. So here I'll start with the calendar. This calendar, you can have a look if you can. It's also online. This calendar is from Kashmir. This calendar has few faces, very few of the many faces of people who have been disappeared by the Indian state this much before Modi.
Next Saturday, there is going to be a demonstration for International Women's Day. It's the Million Women Rise March. And on that march, there is going to be a solidarity with Shaheen Bagh block. So I would urge anyone who identifies as a woman or as non-binary to come and join us on that block to show our solidarity with the incredibly courageous fighting women of the Shaheen Bagh movement and of all the Shaheen Baghs across the country. So this is going to be gathering at Duke's Place. If you want more details, it's please follow us on Twitter or Facebook, South Asia Solidarity Group. All the details will be there. So please keep in touch and please come to that event.
I've written a small poem. So what, I'm not physically present there, but my spirit and morale is very well with the students who have seen so much police atrocities and so much of pain has been inflicted on them. So this poem is in solidarity with them. This poem is in solidarity with the women of Shaheen Bagh. It's in solidarity with the lakhs of people who are protesting in India, who are doing their best to stand against this fascist government. And if you are present here today, these are your words, these are not my words. This is what you want to say, this is what you want to deliver from London to India. So the title is मैं वही हूँ, तो क्या हुआ जो मैं नहीं हूँ उनमें, जिन्हें तुमने कैंपस में घुस मारा, लाइब्रेरी से निकाला, हॉस्टल से खदेड़ा, जिन पे टीयर गैस चलाई, स्टन ग्रेनेड बरसाए, जो हफ्तों हवालात में रहे, तुम्हारे जुल्म उठाए, तो क्या हुआ जो मैं नहीं हूँ, मैं वही हूँ, मैं वही हूँ. तो क्या हुआ जो मैं नहीं हूँ उनमें, जिन्होंने तुम्हारी लाठियों का सामना अपने हौसलों से किया, जो किया तुमने गोलियों से वो काम फूलों से लिया, तुमने पुलिस के भेस में भेड़िए भेजे, उन्होंने आगे अपनी बुलबुलों को किया, वो जो दरसगाहों में उड़ना सीखने आए थे, तुमने तोड़ उनके घोंसलों को दिया. अब भी सोचते हो कि वो चुप रहेंगे, तुम जुल्म करते जाओगे, वो खामोश सहेंगे. नहीं साहब, उन्होंने अब उड़ना सीख लिया है, रुख हवा का देखकर मुड़ना सीख लिया है. अब तुम जुल्म की लाठी मारोगे तो इल्म का जूता खाओगे. वो जान हथेलियों पे लिए निकलते हैं, अब और क्या डराओगे. तो क्या हुआ जो मैं नहीं हूँ, मैं वही हूँ, मैं वही हूँ. तो क्या हुआ जो मैं नहीं हूँ उनमें, जिन्होंने संविधान उठाकर अपनी देशभक्ति का हिसाब दिया है. दिए होंगे कभी वोट, फिलहाल तड़ी पार का खिताब दिया है. खाके उनकी मर्दानियों से, खाके उनकी जनानियों से मर्दों नहीं हूँ तो क्या मेरा आसमान गवाह है? मैं उस जमीन पे नहीं हूँ तो क्या मेरा आसमान गवाह है? जो उन्होंने सहा है मुझे वो दर्द बराबर हुआ है। मैं गीत अपने देश के गोरों की जमीन पे गाऊंगी। एक अब्र वहाँ पे उठा है, मैं इनकलाब यहाँ चिल्लाऊंगी। मैं हूँ अभी इंडिया हाउस पे, मगर वहाँ हर चौराहे पर मिल जाऊंगी। तो क्या हुआ जो मैं नहीं हूँ? मैं वही हूँ, मैं वही हूँ।
Make sure you follow Street Mike on Instagram, all social medias, Facebook, YouTube.
And how about you saying something as well? You're shy. How can you be shy when you was chatting to me just now?
Yo, this is MP3 and this is a big shout out to Street Mike. Check this out. Subscribe to the channel. Warming up.
Subscribe, comment, and hit the thumbs.
Big up Street Mike.
Big up Street Mike. I love you.
Big up Street Mike.
Big up Street Mike. Come on. 10-10.
Give me a thumbs up, give me a comment, and follow.